Everybody is worried about a US government shutdown and the Clarity Act stalling. The concern is that if it gets pushed back beyond midterms and Republicans lose the House and the Senate, that the Clarity Act will not pass at all this year or even this term. Now, if that is the case, Ripple and XRP have quietly been positioning themselves around the globe to avoid US clarity. So there is an avenue in which XRP can appreciate, and we are again teetering on the knife of a breakout with a $23 push potentially in the sights for XRP. That's not my prediction. That's coming somewhere else, and we're going to cover everything on it today. But truthfully, we need to discuss not only what is going to cause an appreciation price, what that appreciation could be, and what we are looking at from a global adoption standpoint. Because right now, if you caught the video on the US Clarity Act, today's meeting was delayed due to weather. It got pushed back to Thursday. And again, this is just markup discussions this week. It's not a vote. The best case scenario is that something gets pushed forward to the next committee essentially by the end of Q1. I did a full breakdown video on it if you want a better idea of what's going on with clarity. But I have a feeling most people are going to want to know what's going on with price, where this $23 number possibly comes from, and what is going to cause it. So I always have a little something fun for you guys as far as a screen goes. I try to mix it up. But when it comes to global adoption, you have two different ways of doing it. You can start with the core, which is the easiest way, right? It has the least resistance, and then you build out. Or you could do it like some other companies have had to do that have faced regulatory issues. To give you an example, Facebook. They were trying to get into the major colleges at the very beginning before it was a completely public domain. I'm talking about when they originally started. But they couldn't get the major campuses. So what did they do? They attacked the peripheral campuses and got set up everywhere around it. So that way the major campus had no choice but to accept it as well. That's what we're seeing play out in real time on the globe as far as crypto adoption. Now, why do I say this? You have your periphery nations, right? MAS, Singapore, right? They just got their full monetary approval of Singapore a few months back. What came after that? A partnership in Africa, which also gives them direct link to Latin America for FX. Then they got their regulations from the EU and MiCA in the UK, along with Japan fully tokenizing everything on the XRP ledger and programs to build out the XRP ledger. Japan is going to be the first full adopter of XRP. I do believe that. Not financial advice, but that is my opinion based on the way it's playing out. If you look at everything Japan has done over the last couple months, it certainly seems like XRP has a strong foothold in Asia. Then you take it a step further, what just got announced, right? The partnership with GeoBank out of Saudi Arabia. So now we have access to every single corridor. Peripheral nations, trade corridors, rule set regions, liquidity exporters, and resource and sovereign capital. We have hit every single layer on every single continent with the exception of the United States of America. Now, granted, that is the largest one. But once we do have rules and clarity, if we already have everything else set up around the world, the choice becomes very, very easy. Then we zoom out to our price, right? Again, prices for context. We're not necessarily here for what the price is going to be today, tomorrow, or a week from now, but what it's going to be a year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now. And when you zoom out, when you take a wide lens and when you look at it from a long view perspective, we are balancing right at the edge of a knife. We are compressing between this $2 and this $175 resistance level. So if we get a push above this EMA 9 level with some serious volume and maintain it, that does open us up to a potential run. Now, what kind of run are we talking about? Well, let's check with Binance and see what Binance has to think. Does this chart look familiar, right? It's something we just looked at. So according to Binance, right, the most aggressive XRP rally in over 7 years is coming. Here's the signal. XRP has entered a significant phase in its market cycle. The cryptocurrency has spent 400 days in a rectangular reaccumulation pattern, which is now showing signs of consolidation above key support levels, which is that $1.75 level we were discussing. According to Chart Nerd, this extended period may precede one of XRP's most aggressive rallies in 8 years. Traders are closely monitoring the asset for a potential breakout, as it may target double-digit prices. A lot of people are expecting a serious slingshot moon after this long compression period. And if you zoom out to the chart and actually look at the compression from the standpoint, we have been hanging out for a long time, since December of 2024, to be maintaining these levels. If it does move, whichever way it moves, if it breaks north above EMA 9 or if it breaks south below $1.75, we could be experiencing a violent shift. It has been sitting here for a long time. We don't know what levels have what liquidity because it has not been tested. Now, that being said, if you look at the chart, it's the same thing that we have been pointing out and we have been following, but it's a different way of saying it. So the breakout target price is, if XRP maintains its position above the support zone, the rectangular bull flag structure suggests a double-digit breakout. The chart marks a potential of $23.84. Now, again, this is fun and this is speculation. We're talking about potential. I'm not telling you that XRP is going to go to $23 this month. But when you look at the structure of the chart and align it with what we're discussing as far as global adoption, as far as MAS, as far as clarity, right? We're discussing global adoption. I've brought up licenses in the UK, the EU, right? The MiCA-compliant stablecoins, right? There also is discussion now with an RL yen, right, on the XRP ledger. I don't know if you guys heard that one, but that is in the works. It was discussed. So like all of this stuff is coming on ledger and all of this stuff is getting tokenized, and it's all stuff that we've been talking about for months, but it is lining up with these other theses and these other theories. And again, I see all of you coming in, engage in the chat. The chat is the lifeblood of the stream. I want to know your thoughts, opinions, feelings on what we are looking forward to. I know that we have some people here who are still looking for a $3 XRP this month. Fingers crossed, but what do you think XRP is going to do this year? What do you think? Okay, here's the question for the live chat. Let me know what you think XRP is going to be at the end of 2026, and what is your XRP retirement number? What is freedom to you? What number does XRP have to be at in order to give you that freedom? Now, again, we're about more than XRP on this channel. We are about building out the tokenized infrastructure of the future. When we discuss the tokenized financial economy, I hold personally, I'm all about infrastructure, right? Both physical and digital infrastructure, gold, silver, copper, right? These kind of things, AI, data centers, REITs, right? Your physical infrastructure securities, and then you have the crypto infrastructure. I hold XRP, Canton Network, Ondo, HBAR, and Chainlink. And if you follow me on X, at Longview Crypto, you will get all of this information as soon as I see it, because there's some major things cooking up with Ondo and Chainlink. An Ondo Chainlink partnership was announced. I do believe I have it in the bookmarks here for you. Let me take a look. So we have partnerships with Ondo and Chainlink. Canton Network has a new list of validators. You might see some names that you recognize, like Gemini 2, Coinbase, right? Canton Network is growing. We've been talking about it for over a month. So you can pull all of this stuff off of X. You can follow me on X. Japan hears the public on stablecoin reserves. Japan's Financial Services Agency is seeking public input until February 27th on rules defining which bonds can back stablecoin reserves. So Japan is moving forward at lightning speed with cryptocurrency. And however, we did have a major news announcement from XRP. Well, not from XRP, from Ripple though. So G Treasury today, we are proud to introduce Ripple Treasury, powered by G Treasury, the world's first comprehensive treasury platform, combining 40 years of proven enterprise expertise with cutting-edge digital asset infrastructure. Many finance teams are stuck managing growing complexity with fewer resources constrained by outdated legacy infrastructure. Ripple Treasury changes the equation with unmatched innovation capacity, treasury excellence, and digital asset leadership. You can follow me on X if you want to read the whole thing, but basically G Treasury is now going live for real. Like, they had the acquisition, but now it's all worked in. To give you an example, this stuff takes time. I worked for a company, I'm not going to say the name of the company, but I worked for a company and they did a large acquisition. Massive acquisition. Basically bought a company the same size as them. Essentially, it was a merger, but not. So it took 14 months after the sale closed before the real integration of the two companies actually started. So yes, we were hearing these announcements last year about them acquiring G Treasury and them acquiring Rail and them acquiring Hidden Road. It takes time for these to assimilate, roll out, and coordinate so they have that level of interoperability. Again, these are the things we watch and pay attention to so we can see what the foundation is being laid out in front of us so we can position ourselves to make the best choices for the long view. If you're here for pump and dump crypto, that is not me. I'm not here to get you with clickbait titles and hype narratives. However, I do have a little bit of fun from time to time, and I will throw a little hidden gem in there, like a $23 mark in the quarter, just to watch people click it and then get mad about it. Because a lot of people complain about the clickbait titles. A lot of people complain about the clickbait culture. But here's the problem. It works. If people didn't click it, people wouldn't do it. Okay? You need to change your mindset and change your narrative if you want to produce different results. If you keep clicking those videos, you're going to keep getting the same information. Again, my opinion, not financial advice, but we are here for the long view. And a lot of my subscribers are here for the long view and have done very, very well for themselves over the last 6, 7, 8 years, right? If you come in trying to make money quick, more than likely you're going to lose than you are going to win. In order for one person to get rich quick, 20 people have to lose everything. The odds are not in your favor. Let's build for the future. Now, a lot of people have been asking me about Flare. So I did dig up some Flare information for you in regards as far as what's playing out. Again, Paul Barron did an excellent interview with the Flare CEO. I suggest you all go watch that if you want some information, some more in-depth information as far as what's coming down the pipeline for Flare this year. But the Flare network teases more in the pipeline after revisiting the recent launch of its liquid XRP token for spot trading, Hyperliquid. Flare's official account shared this X post today, highlighting the major gap that has closed. The tweet emphasized that before the launch, over 200 million XRP perpetuals of open interest OI existed in Hyperliquid without a native spot hedge. However, Flare changed that with the listing of FXRP, the DEX trading platform. You're going to see a lot more DEX trading platforms and interoperability. I was actually just doing a meeting yesterday with Tangem and their new wallets that they have coming out. I will be having that because it works for me, and I'll have that information for you guys later. But I was just doing a meeting with Tangem, and they're actually coming out with their own DEX and their own quote unquote warm wallet to interact with their cold storage wallets, which I think is really interesting. FXRP closes a major gap. The tweet featured a clip from an interview with Flare Network's DeFi analyst Dra Shah. Good luck with that. With media outlet Genfinity. Furthermore, it reminded the crypto community that FXRP's listing on Hyperliquid closed a major gap, now allowing traders to hedge their on-chain order book with native spot XRP. Again, more native spot XRP options, right? We've talking about Doppler Finance coming in with their vault and creating XRP yield. We have XRP yield options on Flare Network with FXRP. Hex Trust just came out and they're working with WXRP to deploy XRP both on Solana, Ethereum, Hyperliquid, and Optimism. Interoperability is going to be massive. We've heard these announcements, but it hasn't been fully rolled out yet. Again, a lot of this stuff is going to take time. We're here for the long view, but that's why we watch now, because a lot of this stuff is not priced in. Once it takes off, a lot of people are going to be left behind, and it's sad for them. It really is, because now's the best time to get into it. Truthfully, I mean, we are so early. We are so early in the crypto game. Appreciation has not started. We've been looking at the same prices now that we were looking at last year across the board, if not worse than they were last year for a lot of these currencies, and things have only improved. So why is the money pulling out? Where is it going? Follow the money. Follow the money. That being said, I'll be the first person to tell you when I think I made a mistake. I'm going to be reinvesting in Bitcoin. Why am I going to be reinvesting in Bitcoin? Because, and again, my opinion, not financial advice, but I am true to my word. I say follow the money. When BlackRock comes out and says they're going to do a profit-based ETF on Bitcoin, and pretty much the only other ETF they have is Bitcoin, now they're doubling down on Bitcoin, and not just doubling down on it, they're doubling down on it with derivatives and leverage. Okay? When the money says they're going here, it's not going away. My opinion, not financial advice. You do your own research and make your own investments. But when BlackRock doubles down on an investment, you have to pay attention, at least in my opinion. Now, back to the Flare network before I got sidelined. So the Flare network first announced on January 7th, debuting its first ever XRP spot market on Hyperliquid. We already know about Hyperliquid. I want to talk about the more to come for XRP enthusiasts. Meanwhile, Flare Network plans to do more to expand the XRP market globally, as confirmed in the Tuesday tweet. The ecosystem is expanding its XRP presence on Ethereum virtual machine EVM networks, providing new use cases and strategy layers for enthusiasts, and pledged to do more. In the clip, Shosh claimed that Flare will be the driver of XRP yields in collaboration with new DeFi protocol Firelight. Notably, Firelight launched on Flare in December, enabling institutional-grade staking services for XRP holders. Shosh revealed that Flare is also looking at specific XRP pockets to expand into in 2026 and is building the infrastructure to enable it. This would further strengthen the relationship between the two ecosystems. So Flare is committing to building out more and more opportunities for XRP holders, as we've discussed in the past. But again, we have the article sitting right in front of us. And if you want an even more in-depth, please go watch the Paul Barron interview with the Flare CEO. It'll give you all the information that you want to see. Now, let's go ahead and hop into the chat. Let's see if I've got this figured out. Let's see if I've got this working correctly. I appreciate every single one of you for taking your time to be here. Your time truly is your most valuable asset, and I do not take that for granted whatsoever. I'm here to talk to every single person and follow every single comment. So let's see if I fix this correctly. Let's see. Does it work? Does it work? Is it working? I'm going to have to try it a different way. Okay, hang on. Let me get into the chat. I tried something new here, so bear with me. Don't leave me. It's worth it. It's worth it if it works. Can I make it work? Are you going to work? Let's see. Let's see. Come on. Where's my stream? There it goes. Let's see. Is it working? No, it's not showing up. Okay, it's not working. Let me try this real quick. I hope I don't have to do it every single time. That would be very annoying. It's not working. Darn it. So I was trying to set up the chat so where it would come through and you guys could see the chat, and I think I have to do it every single time. Let's see if I can do it. Bear with me. Give me 30 seconds. Let me run through this. I'm going to delete this and try it again. Get overlay URL. And let's see. Live chat. Delete this and add a new one. Yes. Add. Bear with me. One more second. Almost done. Almost done. And you know, it's always nerve-wracking when you try something new. I even did it in a private stream beforehand to make sure it worked, and then it does this nonsense. So don't worry, we are going to get into the private chat. Hopefully all of this will work. Let's see. And testing. Is it working? No, it is not working. This is so not cool. Is this the right? Hang on. One more thing. I don't have the right thing here. Here we go. Let's try this one more time. Bear with me, guys. I'm sorry. I'm working on it. I'm not trying to kill the stream. I had such a good stream going. We had over 40 people, but I want to make sure I can talk to everybody. This is silly that I cannot figure this stuff out. I'm too old. I am not technologically advanced enough for this stuff. Let's see. One more minute. Not even 1 minute. 30 seconds to see if this will work. And go. And go. Will it work? No, it's not working. Darn it. Okay, I give up. I'll have to figure it out later. Let's get into the chat, guys. I'm sorry. I was trying to do it to where you guys could see the chats, and I'm trying to be all fancy, and it didn't work for me. I'll get it figured out, though. I don't know why it's not working like it's supposed to. Let's see here. Bear with me. I'm trying other stuff now. But anyway, let's hop into the chat here. So why is my chat all messed up? I can't even see the top of the chat at this point. Crypto Roger says Germany just passed no capital gains tax on crypto if you've held it for 12 plus months. And I think there was a couple other places that were doing the same thing as well, to be honest with you. I know there was a couple other countries that have already come out that they're not going to do a capital gains tax on crypto, which is amazing. Crypto Roger says, since the Dems will surely shut down the government, it appears like we won't get any form of Clarity Act this year or this 4-year term. And if they win the election, maybe not for a long time. Well, I mean, I don't know how long it's going to be till we get it, but it's definitely going to be more apt to the banks if we do get it, right? So if it does get pushed out, that means the Democrats are going to be in control. It is very clear that the banks are lobbying with the Democrats. So we may still get a Clarity Act or some kind of crypto bill, but it's going to be less for retail and more for the big banks if it does get pushed that way. My opinion, not financial advice, but that is how I believe it's going to work. Let's see here. So Crypto Roger said, and yeah, it looks like the government is going to shut down. There's a 78% chance of a government shutdown right now. If you caught the video on the Clarity Act, the reason is overfunding for Homeland Security due to the ICE backlash in Minnesota. So basically the Democrats are using that as their leverage. Now, I suggest you go watch the video. It's about 4.5 minutes long. It explains it in a lot more detail and has the more specific information for you. But usually it's going to take, like, this could drag out for a while because ICE still has backing outside the government to keep them funded and rolling, even in the event of a government shutdown. It's going to be a nasty ordeal. I really do think it is. Let's see here. Crypto Roger says, well, let's hope one Pandora's box open that will soon make it to the US. My whole exit strategy is counting on no capital gains tax. I don't know if we're going to get a complete no capital gains tax. I think they'll have something. They've already started doing the no capital gains tax on small Bitcoin purchases and stuff like that. So I don't know if we're going to get a complete, pullback of capital gains tax on crypto, but I do expect we'll get something like kind of probably like Japan, where Japan just did like a 20% flat tax on all crypto gains. I would be okay with something like that. Honestly, just something that's more positive over what we're looking at now. I'll be happy with. Let's see here. Crypto Roger also said we need to make no capital gains tax a nationwide campaign. We need someone with influence and money like a Trump or Kennedy or someone with a lot of followers. Well, I agree with you, Crypto Roger, but here's the problem. Most people are not like you, me, or even a lot of the people in this chat. Most people don't have a ton of crypto. The no capital gains tax on crypto is probably going to help a very small portion of retail, and it's going to help the billionaires more than anyone else, truthfully. Now, granted, we have to worry about ourselves, but when I try to think of what could happen in a big picture mindset, I try to zoom out. Who's it going to help? It's going to help the people with the big money. So there's a very good chance we could get that because they don't care about the little guy. They care about protecting their pockets. We've seen that by how much money the Trump family has made in crypto with the pro-crypto legislation that's been coming forward. It's all planned. Follow the money. We say that all the time. Excuse me. Raul said, good morning. Sir Charles is in the house. Let's see here. Todd Madison says, good afternoon, everyone. I got all my members in the house today. Again, memberships are open to everyone. You can do memberships, super chats, gifts, all that stuff should be available to you now. And members do get a weekly members only live stream, as well as the first 100 members. All of the founding members will receive everything else that comes out down the line for membership. If you are a founding member, that goes out to the first 100 of you. So I appreciate all of you for taking your time to be here, because your time truly is your most valuable asset. And I live my life that way. So I want you guys to know I appreciate your time, and hopefully I present value to you. Raul says, you are right about the taxes to Crypto Roger. And Todd Madison says, good afternoon, everyone. Three Brothers is in the house today. Good afternoon, Three Brothers. Jane Doe is in the house today. Hello, Jane. Saw you 89. Okay, well, not reading that one. Nice try. Slap yo mama. So what's up, fam? Blessings. Welcome to the stream. Hit the like button, hit subscribe, engage in the chat, everyone. I appreciate you all for being here. You guys have been blowing up the chat, and I appreciate it. We will keep it going as long as the chat is active. And then here in a little bit, I'll go back and start over and do a quick recap for everyone who came in late. But let's continue to push through the chat here. Damian Voss says, what's good, Longview? XRP can't be under $100 for global use. The math will not work. Well, I mean, it does, but it doesn't. I mean, optimally, XRP would need to be at a higher price to function, but it's not a requirement of the network. Yeah, it's not efficient to do a bunch of micro transactions with XRP at $2, but it can be done. Okay. So I want to buck that narrative that it's not possible. It very much is possible and has been working with over $95 billion of payments in the last 4 years, with XRP being at its current price. Now, I understand it is designed and it's more efficient to function at a higher price, but we're not going to see that till we get the volume of the utility on Ledger. And that's why we follow the actual account activity, the account set activity, the Ledger activity, the payments activity that happens on the XRP Ledger. We didn't look at it today, but we will touch on it again. Let's see here. Jane Doe says $100. Crypto Roger says $100. Everyone wants to see it hit $100 this year. Okay. I would love for it to hit $100 this year. Damian Voss said at least $100, but 10K. Okay. Every $10,000 eventually by Nico Bester. That's a new name. I haven't seen that one. Welcome, Nico. I appreciate you taking the time to be here today. Three Brothers says 25. Okay. Farm Xmas says, I have 4 days for my $3 target to hit. My XRP retirement number is anything over $200. Okay. Okay, I guess I said, what's your retirement number? I mean, really, retirement's a figure of, a state of mind, right? Same with wealth. It's all a mindset. But for me, since we're going through, everyone's saying $100. For me, the retirement number is $25. Well, I mean, I say retirement again. For me, the retirement number is $25, which means I can have the toys I want, but at the same time still decide what I'm doing for the day. If I'm going to continue doing YouTube or not, or if I'm going to, if I need to go work for someone else or not, I'll have that freedom to make that decision for the rest of my life and still have all my niceties and bases covered for my family. To me, that's retirement. Retirement does not mean necessarily never working again. Retirement's more financial freedom, if you will. All your bases are covered and you're secure to pursue whatever mission and purpose you want to pursue when you feel like waking up that day. Let's see here. Crypto Roger says, let me get caught back up here. Sir Charles says a $25 XRP would allow me to do anything I want with no stress. That the exact same definition, Sir Charles. Me and you got the same mindset. Crypto Roger says, I say $100 because that allows me to buy my farm and never selling about 20 to 40,000 XRP for those larger values to come later. Okay. So you're looking at it, so Crypto Roger's looking at it as a borrow and die kind of thing and just let it. Mine was phone calls over, where's my truck? Why hasn't my truck showed up yet? This, that, and the other business, you know what I'm saying? Raul said $300, okay. Jane Doe, Crypto Roger says Tangem is one of the better wallets. Well, so they reached out to me, and it works well for me because they have a new system now. They have a new 3-tiered system that I'm going to be using. So I'll show you guys on it, and I'll give you the link when I have it. But it's a 3-tiered system for someone like me who has short-term memory loss, and you could potentially lose your keys. It has a nice redundant system to where if you have 2 of the devices, you can recover your seed phrase. Also, it comes with 3 devices. They're all essentially the same wallet, but they're all linked together. So if you have a spouse or a loved one who you need to teach to have access to the crypto in case of an emergency or something like that, it's kind of like holding a spare key card. So it comes with 2 cards and a ring. So they're sending me that now. But for me, it works out great because one of my big fears is losing my seed phrases. So that's why I have my seed phrases stored in multiple different areas. This is just another layer of redundancy for me. Again, my opinion. Sir Charles actually said $100 is probably what I'd really need. I mean, $100 XRP is nice. It's a nice round number. We could say we made it there, you know. It's fantastic. And you guys have been blowing up the chat. I haven't even gotten through the half of it yet. Let's see here. Crypto Roger said, Tangem allows you to manage as many XRP wallets as you might want from the same cell phone. There you could spread your XRP out across 10 wallets on your phone for security purposes. It's coming 589 is in the house from London. Welcome 589. And if you're new to the stream and you're new to the chat, let me know where you're from. Sign off in the chat so I can know where you're from. I try to get to know everyone. I worked in freight for a long time, so I'm very familiar with the United States and where everything is. I've either talked to someone there or I've been there. It's coming 589 says they have an EliPal wallet. I would definitely recommend it. I do too. I actually just reached out to EliPal too. So the way I'm doing this, and I'll have links for you guys soon, but the way I'm doing this, so I have my EliPal Titan 2.0 air gap cold storage wallet. This is my high, heavy duty, high maintenance. Probably going to shove that in a security box somewhere. And then I'll have the Tangem wallets, which I can move around and do stuff with as they connect directly to the DEX as well. So again, whatever your crypto security situation is, and I'll also have an institutional custody option available for you as well soon. So that way, whatever choice you want to make for your custody, you will have options. And again, a broad approach, don't put all your eggs in one basket. Having multiple options is never a bad thing. So I'm just trying to present you all safe options, in my opinion. Oh, don't worry. I don't have to worry about Michael from Tangem. I've already got my stuff set up and did my meeting with them and my call. We are good to go. So yeah, Tangem was very good. EliPal was very nice. They were both nice as far as working with me. Jane Doe says, don't answer Michael. Yeah, I didn't answer that. Yeshua says, hello, everyone. What are your thoughts on XLM? So XLM is kind of the retail layer, the way I look at it as far as payments go in the United States. And really, they've been kind of falling off as of late, but they do have good backing. I do hold some XLM. It's not one of my 5 pillars. I do think just me personally, I think there's, better ROI options elsewhere. And I see other things beating it in the payment sector with stable coins and things like that. That's the only thing that worries me about the retail side of it with XLM and things like that, is that if it's domesticated, it doesn't necessarily require crypto, right? Stable coins kind of overtake it. So it's really going to be a matter of the function of the blockchain, and what is going to be needed to function the blockchain. My opinion, not financial advice. Let's see here. Well, that was the XLM question. There it is. Quelly says, I've been trying to find an IRA for my crypto to avoid capital gains when XRP appreciates. Scott, if you allow it, can I share my referral link unless you have a referral to share for people? You can't share links in the stream. It won't let you, Quelly. But I know there are some for like I Trust Capital and stuff like that. Again, I'm not connected with anyone. I'm not connected with any IRA options for you. But there are options for you to put your IRA. Now, again, you still have to follow the same IRA rules down the line. Okay. So again, truthfully, if you have any kind of substantial amount of crypto to where you're concerned about taxes, you should talk to a CPA. Honestly, just to make sure you're protecting yourself and getting the best options for yourself as far as financial sovereignty. Quality said, for countries with no capital gains tax on crypto, it's great, but if you're a U.S. citizen or resident, you still have to pay in the U.S. Yes. Sir Charles says, does swapping one crypto for another create a taxable event? Yes, it does. If you made a profit on a crypto, you sell it and you put it into something else, it does require a taxable event. Now, you're close, Crypto Roger. Last I checked, Crypto Roger says, I believe 20% is capital gains after 12 months. They actually have 3 stages of it now, thanks to the Biden administration. If it's less than a year, it's a 39% capital gains tax. If it's between 1 and 3 years, it's a 29% capital gains tax. And if it's over 3 years, it's a 19% capital gains tax. Again, do your own research, look it up. But the last time I checked, that's what it was. Talk to your CPA if you need tax information, because it's different in every state as well as every situation. Yeshua says, if Trump loses midterms, how would that affect us holders? Well, Trump's not running for midterms. Midterms is about who's going to win the House and who's going to win the Senate. So if the Republicans lose the House and the Senate, that could affect U.S. holders because it's going to delay the Clarity Act. Remember, I've been saying this for a while, and again, my opinion, but I do believe the big banks have their hands in the pockets lobbying with the Democrats, okay? That's why the big banks and Democrats were holding up the bill to begin with. They're using it as leverage right now. Democrats are using it as leverage right now. It's all negotiation tactics. I still think it has a very real chance of being done before midterms. Again, now if it's not, that could delay things out down the road. And that would suck but it creates a longer buying opportunity. We can see by the adoption and the utility and everything that's happening with crypto, right? It's not going anywhere. Remember, when you zoom out from a 30,000 foot radius and you look at what's happened over the last year to 18 months in crypto, it's very easy to see what direction this train is going, people. Now, if you don't believe that, then really I can't help you, because that's kind of the core premise. Do you think this is going to go up in 10 years? If you do, then let's create real systems that are going to help you be successful to capitalize on that over the next 10 years. That is the goal of the channel, to set you up to get your freedom back, to get your time back, to reduce stress, to simplify your life, to get peace back. Crypto's a tool. Crypto is what I cover every day. It's fun, it's entertaining, and I love doing it. Don't get me wrong. But it's one of the many, many tools of setting yourself up for success in the future. Fail to plan, you will plan to fail. Let's see here. Crypto Writer said, I believe currently 20% is the capital gains tax. I just answered that question. I just answered the Trump question. Let's see here. You guys have been great with the chat today. Let's see. Crypto Roger said, yep, okay. Quelly79 says, if XRP goes to 1K, I'll feel very happy. If it goes to 10K, it will be life-changing for me, my friends, family, and community sharing the wealth. I mean, if it goes to 10K, it's going to be life-changing for a whole lot of people. If it goes to 10K, I will be streaming from the beach for the rest of my life, just enjoying Mai Tais and sea breezes and salty sea breezes and all those things. I will be the tannest mofo. I already have leather skin as it is, man. I don't know if I can handle that much more sun. Gunpowder says, good afternoon. Congress could approve a temporary CR to extend current funding levels for DHS and other agencies through mid-February or March, buying time for talks. They could. And again, there's a lot of things they could do, they could not do. We wait and find out. I was just looking at the odds of the government shutdown shooting up to 78%. Everyone likes the odds talks right now, but there are options for them for them to avoid it. Absolutely. But the odds are not in the favor. It's not looking good right now. And a lot of people are really up in arms over what's happening with ICE in this country. Wrong, right, or indifferent, I'm not weighing in on it. But a lot of people are upset. And it's causing problems. Problems are not good. Uncertainty is bad. Markets hate uncertainty. Let's see. Todd Masson said, yes, you can add a live chat YouTube live stream overlaying it directly. Oh, I've been doing that. I was messing with it the whole time, Todd. It just wasn't working for. I actually had it working in a private stream before I started live streaming. Crypto Rush said, if you have not, please hit likes and share. Yes, hit the like button, share it far and wide, guys. The whole idea is to grow the non-hype, non-hopium XRP crypto foundation so we can build systems for the long view and get out of the get rich quick mindset and actually develop a true wealth mindset that is going to help you get to where you want to be over the next 5 to 10 years. I'm not promising you it's going to happen in a year, and that's why I get less clicks. But when we look at XRP and we look at crypto as a whole and how things are building out, we can see that it is building from the outside in. Most things will start from the core and work their way out. This is the opposite. It's kind of like how Facebook took over college campuses. If you caught the beginning of the stream, it's like Facebook if you watch The Social Network, right? When they were trying to attack the large campuses, they had to get the little schools around them to get the popularity. And then once the college campus finally came around, there was only one option. That's how Facebook actually outdid MySpace. It was guerrilla marketing amongst the college students when they first came online. Man, I'm dating myself if anyone's less than 30 years old. So who remembers MySpace, right? So it's kind of the same thing. What Ripple has been doing is they have been going in and they have been attacking these outside layers. They've gotten the resource and sovereignty capital, right? They just did their partnership in Saudi Arabia and the Gulf states. Huge in Japan. I can't talk about Japan anymore. Just got their FCA licensing in the UK. Just got their conditional FCA approval in the EU. They are MiCA compliant, right? They already have active partnerships and corridors in Africa and Latin America. And they have the full MAS support of Singapore, right? They have the monetary approval of Singapore. So they have covered all of these layers except for the core US layer. And they already have their conditional bank charter. They are plugged into every single element of the infrastructure waiting for the go button. And that's why we follow things like account set activity. That's why we follow things like what's actually happening on the XRP ledger. If you're looking at the XRP ledger, you can see that the account set activity has spiked over the last 3 months. There have been more accounts coming on ledger over the last 3 months than there has been in the entire history of the ledger by tenfold. Okay. So as more accounts come online, we're going to see this transition to payments activity. That's the whole motto, right? You guys have heard me say this 10 times at least if you're in the chat with me every day. So we are over 1 million. We are maintaining over 1 million. We want to see this continue to escalate and spike beyond 2 million. When we see that kind of payment volume activity taking place, that tells us that we are getting real appreciation and real adoption. Okay, then we can start looking for price pump, number go up. Everyone wants to see the Clarity Act go through, but again, we're looking at a 78% chance of a government shutdown right now. ICE, Minnesota, right? Spending bill on national defense or homeland security. All of these things are causing problems, and we know it's all political scruff. Now, granted, don't get me wrong, there's some very bad things happening, and I'm not here to comment on politics, okay? But there's bad things happening. There's one person views it this way, one person views it that way, but the whole point is it's causing uncertainty in the markets. Markets hate uncertainty. Now, we talk about $23 XRP. Well, when we talk about XRP, we talk about what actually defines a breakout if you're looking at from a chart structure viewpoint. We have been consolidating, again, when in doubt, zoom out. We have been consolidating between $2 and $1.75 for a while now. Well, just in this descending wedge in general. You can call it a rectangular wedge, you can call it a descending wedge, you can call it whatever the hell you want. It hasn't gone through $1.75 yet. It is bouncing off $1.75 and it is compressing down to that low. It is going to break one way or another. If it breaks down, we're looking at like a $1.20. If it breaks up, they're saying, not me, they, Chat Nerd is saying it could hit as high as $23 once you get into the Fibonacci levels and the technical analysis and all of that. But the point of the matter is that this is additional research from someone else with different technical analysis that is lining up with the same exact thing we've been discussing for months now. Whenever we start seeing things overlap, that makes us raise an eyebrow, because that, to me, means we're getting closer. Something's getting close. I feel it in my bones. Something's getting close. But again, we're about more than one asset. We are about the infrastructural foundation of tokenized economy, right? We are about the foundational ecosystem of the tokenized economy. So I hold XRP, Canton Network, Ondo, Chainlink, and HBAR, as well as others. But those are my 5 main pillars that I invest into every single month. I'm curious to know what you guys think about infrastructure. Is there a play that I'm missing? Is there a play that's better? What would you swap? There you go. That's a great question for the chat. Of my 5 pillars, what would you like to see swapped out? What would you swap with for what and why? What do you think? Okay, let me know what you guys think. Let's see here. So we talked about the Flare network, with Flare building out specifically for XRP holders and creating more staking options for major XRP players. Again, that is coming down the line in 2026. You can also always follow me on X. This is where I get a lot of the information about the Clarity. We talked about G Treasury officially going live. Canton Network has new validators. You can see a couple big names in there, such as Gemini, etc., Coinbase. It goes on and on and on. Canton Network, Canton Foundation is building and building. And if you've been around for a little bit, we started calling out the Canton Network at the beginning of the month. And right now for the month, it's only up 14.9%. But again, we're here for the long view. Now, for the hour, it's down 1.3. Today, it's up 1.5. So it's doing all right. The entire crypto market's just been up and down all month. It hasn't been doing anything. So let's hop back into the chat and see what everyone has to say again. I'm going to try this one more time. Maybe it'll work. Maybe it'll work. I doubt it'll work, but I'm going to try it one more time. Darn it. Let's see. OBS. Yeah, it's not working. Darn it. Okay. All right. Well, it was worth a shot. I'll get it fixed for the next one. Let's get back into the chat here. Whoa, 50 people in this. I haven't been paying attention to the chat. Oh my God. Thank you guys. I appreciate it. Oh, the stream froze for a second. Well, I hope we still have enough people in here. I didn't even know the stream froze. You guys have been blowing up the chat. I appreciate it. Let's keep it rolling. How many people are in the stream right now? 55. All right. Hit the like button, share it far and wide. Let's see if we can get up to 100 people. And if you want to know the secret to growing a stream, it is engagement and viewing, right? Staying in the stream, continuing to watch, but engaging in the stream. Chat and likes, those things will help it grow. If you guys want to be a part of that, let's get this channel far and wide to the world. Anyway, so enough of my shameless plug. I'm going to get back in the chat and talk to everyone today. Sorry that the stream froze, but should be fixed now. Let's see here. XRP must be 10K to 50K per token if they want to be liquid worldwide. I think 10K is the appropriate number for it to be used worldwide in order to be able to handle quadrillions of value. That does seem like the appropriate number. I would love to see it. Do I think it's going to hit 10K? I think it has a chance in 10 years. But truthfully, I'd be more than happy with, 250 over the next 10 years. If it gets to 250 over the next 10 years, I'm on the beach by 50. That's a good life. I think we need to have some realistic expectations. Let's see here. Quelly says, I don't say where I'm from because if I say plus my nickname, people will know who I am. Okay. Well, people know who I am. I got my face on the internet, but that's the risk you take. I actually get to come out here and talk on the internet and put my face out there, my words out there, and look like an idiot if I want to. You know what I mean? I've only had one person recognize me so far in real life, so that was interesting. No one else from my real life has mentioned it at all. Let's see here. Searchall says, dude, I'm going to buy the moon if XRP goes to 10K. I thought we were buying an island, Charles. Oh, no, that was me and Roger. Okay, so if it goes to 10K, how about this? How about if it goes to 10K, we create a sovereign nation that's on an island, like the Longview Compute Island. We don't have to call it that. We don't have to name it after Longview Compute. But I mean, if it goes to $10,000, I think between all the people in here and what's being held, because I know what a few of you hold. I think everything that's in here and what's being held, we could easily fund our own little sovereign nation. The XRP Army Island. Let's see here. George Evans is in the house. He says, hey, how's it going? Been a long time. Welcome back to the stream, George. It has been a while since I've seen your name. What you've missed, we have memberships now. We have super chats. The channel is monetized. You should not be getting ads during the stream. I turned it off. It was killing the stream. So you guys should not be getting ads during the stream. And you're welcome. H2O Hearn says the title says XRP is scaling. XRP is scaling. If you, when I talk about XRP is scaling, I'm talking about the global adoption. And when you're looking at the levels of global adoption, we've got the approval from the MAS. We've got the approval from Europe, right? With the FCA, approval from UK with FCA. They just got, what else? The crypto, or the whatever it was out of Luxembourg. I can't remember off the top of my head right now. They got their conditional banking charter in the United States. Japan has pretty much come out and said that they are going to create an entire tokenized economy on the XRPL. They have corridors in Africa and South America. Yeah, XRP is definitely scaling at length. And they are positioned all the way around the United States. So yeah, the title says XRP is scaling because it is. And if we also look at the account set activity from the XRPL, we can see that that activity is scaling as well. So when scaling does not mean price, XRP scaling does not mean price is scaling. We talked about what a breakout could look like in that $23 target. But when you're looking at the XRP ledger scaling and you look at the level of adoption that's happened over the last 12 to 18 months, you look at what's happening with Evernorth, you look at what's happening with the interoperability and other chains, you look at the account set activity, you look at the payments volume, you look at the 800 million XRP in 2 months or 3 months or whatever it is now in ETFs. Right? We didn't talk about ETFs today. Inflows continue after our last week outflows. We're still sitting right around 780 million XRP left in the ETFs. But to say, I mean, yeah, I think XRP is scaling as a pretty truthful and safe statement. My opinion, not financial advice. Let's see here. Let me find the chat again real quick. Gunpowder, XRP ledger has recently surpassed 2 billion in tokenized real-world assets on chain. Let's go. That's right. Tokenization and interoperability are going to be key over the next 1 to 2 years. We're going to see that nonstop, left and right. That's all it's going to be. Let's see here. Try this one more time. I wonder if I could just edit this. No, it just lets me delete it. It doesn't let me edit it. Okay. On the XRP account set chart, why is 40K the cap? Doesn't make sense. Yeah, I know what you're asking. Why does it cap at 40K? I've thought the same thing. But I went back at the entire history of the ledger and I couldn't find it cap over 40K at all. So I don't know. I don't know why it caps at 40K, but if we pull it up and actually look at it and see what it's doing, it has been hollowed out at 40K. I mean, you can see it has not dropped at all. It's just staying there. So yeah, I don't know why it caps at 40K, Sir Charles, but I've noticed that too. I've actually reached out. I'm trying to reach out to people who work on the XRP ledger to get an explanation other than the only explanation I can come up with is that there's some kind of institutional onboarding because it's way too much activity for it to have anything to do with retail. So what are they creating all these new account set permissions for? They have to be onboarding at a large scale. I mean, these are 40,000 accounts a day for like 3 months straight is not nothing. And no one's talking about it. Like I can't find anyone else to discuss it. I'm on my own with that one. Crypto Mercenary says it's deeper than most know or understand. Raul says, I want to buy some at $1.75. I do too. Quelly says, the charts you're using now look great. I'm glad you enjoy. I've been trying to mix everything up. I've been trying to improve the stream, right? Make sure it's nice and visual for everyone. Ordis Drain says XRP Army. Raul says we got 55 people in stream. Let's go. Let's get it to 75. Let's get it to 100. Let's get it back up over 100. It's been a while since I've had a stream over 100 people. Is XRP the chosen one? I don't think there's going to be one coin that rises to the top. I think there's going to be a handful of coins that rise to the top, just like what happened in the internet era. There wasn't one internet company that won. I mean, I guess Google kind of did, but there were other winners and other competitors that rose up as well. Will there probably be one that outshines more than the others? Probably. So we have to follow where the investment, money, and adoption is behind. But I don't think it's just going to be one winner. XRP is my bet for the largest return on investment. That's why it holds the most weight in my portfolio. But again, I hold Chainlink, HBAR, Ondo, and Canton Network as well as my core infrastructural plays in the digital asset space. And then if we look at the physical space, that's when I get into copper, silver, gold, and REITs, right? And alternative energy. The REITs are really, really interesting. I'm doing a lot more research on it. You can actually purchase REITs, which is a rental agreement essentially. You can purchase a piece of a building. And they're starting to do a lot more with tokenization in real estate as well. There's so many things that are coming online with digital infrastructure moving forward. It's really, really exciting. And I missed the internet boom. I was too young to understand. I'm not missing this one, man. I'm not missing this wealth transfer. Crypto is going to change it. To me, it's our opportunity. It's my second chance at the internet bubble that I didn't get to capitalize on. Resident B says, do you think Japan XRP adoption will be a catalyst for price appreciation? I do. I do believe that. And I've believed that for a long time. Japan has been on board with Ripple forever. SBI was one of their original partners. Remember, SBI is the second largest bank in Japan. They are specifically working on programs to increase adoption of the XRP ledger in Japan. Not to mention, they just announced a dual asset ETF for Bitcoin and XRP coming out of Japan. And they just announced regulation should be done by the end of Q2 in Japan for XRP. It definitely looks like it's going to come online and go live in Japan before it does in the United States with real clarity, real use case, and real approval, right? Real permission for institutions to build and invest trillions of dollars into an ecosystem. But once it's already proven its point, it's already plugged in and ingrained, then the US comes online and it's already there for them. So I think we're going to see it turn on in other places first. And I do think we're going to see a lot of US backing in things like Canton Network and Ethereum, as well as other and Ondo and things like that, because we already have seen institutional backing of the companies behind them from major players like BlackRock and JP Morgan. There's going to be multiple winners. It's going to play out across the board. That's why we do the research. Again, do your own research and have a plan, strategic plan that you can invest in over time. Remember, fail to plan, plan to fail. Let's see. Let me find out where I was in the chat. Liquidated if you sell. That's the only way you get liquidated by a whale. Or if you're playing with leverage and you get stopped out, then yeah, you can be liquidated by a whale. And OBS is connecting and reconnecting again. I don't know why. We've had storms. I don't know why the internet's being all funky. Hopefully it is not messing up too bad for you guys though. So Resident B said, do I think I already answered that? Sir Charles says XRP Island community would be sweet, right? It has to have a golf course though. All right. It has to have a golf course, and my house has to be in between the golf course and the beach. So if we have an XRP Island, I need to be between the golf course and the beach. That's the only request I have. I want that piece of real estate, preferably not downwind from the rest of the island. I don't know. I'm just being silly. Let's see. Resident B says, do you think Japan... I already answered that. Quelly saying that says, I don't want to live in a nation of rich people. I'd rather help communities of regular people, especially in the rest of the economy starts collapsing. You are right, Quelly. And there's different ways of helping the community. Just because I joke about going off to an island doesn't mean I'm not helping people. I can help people from afar. I can help people from afar, or I can bring people with me, right? My family would be well taken care of, as well as for generations to come. And honestly, I'm trying to help people without having any money. That's what YouTube is. I'm trying to grow the message far and wide and give the information to people. So there's all kinds of ways to help, regardless if you're giving money away or not. Let's see here. Raul said, we scaling all over the world, but here. Exactly. We can thank the big banks and the Democrats for wanting to mess around with stablecoin yield. And here's Brad Garlinghouse, like, we're so close. XRP and Ripple don't care about stablecoin yield. He's like, we're so close. Just stop fighting about stablecoin yield and just push it across the finish line, because it doesn't impact their business at all. It impacts Coinbase's business. Again, they don't care about you. They care about that almighty dollar and protecting their bottom line. Crypto Mercenary says, keep grabbing tokens when you can. They'll be worth the time and effort. I agree with that. Again, not financial advice. Do your own research. Jose Mendez says, if the Japan unwind happens and we have a market crash, will most crypto go to zero? Zero, no, but most crypto is going to get hurt if we have a market crash. I mean, the first thing to go is risk on assets, and I'll be sitting there waiting to collect. But again, because I look at this not for what it's going to be today or next week or even a year from now, but what it's going to be 5 years from now, 10 years from now as they build out this infrastructure. If you've been around for a long time, you've seen the ups and downs and the roller coaster of the market, and you've seen this play out in previous industries like the internet era. We can get an idea of how history is going to play out with cryptocurrency and position ourselves for the long view. That's why I look at and build models for adoption. That's why I build models for what's actually happening with the tokenized financial ecosystem and what possibly could partner together, right? Because we are seeing some of this. We're seeing Chainlink and Ondo. We're seeing Ondo and Solana. We're seeing XRP and Solana. There's rumors of XRP and Ondo partnership coming out soon. Could you imagine if XRP, Ondo, Chainlink, and Solana all formed together? Right? It'd be like the Avengers of blockchain. They wouldn't need anything else. So like, we're going to see integration come forward, because I think they're going to try to go with the bigger is better model. And we might have a few merged winners. I don't know. But I do know there's going to be more than one winner, because there's going to be more than one specialty layer of infrastructure when it comes to cryptocurrency. My opinion, as always, not financial advice. So let's see. Let me find out. Well, Crashes, I just answered that. So Crypto Mercy said, yes, it's not even regulated, so they'll go towards precious metals. Precious metals are the hedge. This is why I also hold precious metals. So yes, the zero carry trade or the yen carry trade has everything to do with it. All fiat is pretty much toast. I mean, they've been debasing the dollar at record rates now. I've been talking about that if you've been around the streams. We've said that the dollar has lost over 25% of its purchasing power since 2020. So over the last 6 years, and it's only accelerating and getting worse. So as the dollar continues to debase, as we have more unpredictability and geopolitical drama, we're going to see gold, silver, and metals pump as a hedge away from risk on assets. When you start seeing gold and silver decline, that usually means there's going to be a rotation towards risk on assets. And I don't think that's what we're seeing right now. I just think we're seeing FOMO with silver and gold causing it to go up, and we're having a healthy pullback right now. Again, I hold silver, and a lot of you do too. Let's see here. Sir Charles says, yeah, you're the only one that talked about accounts that, although I stopped watching everybody else once I found your channel. Well, I appreciate that, Sir Charles. I'm glad you enjoy the channel. I'm glad it provides value for you. Again, make sure you guys hit the like button. Try to grow the channel far and wide. I appreciate everyone for taking your time to be here. And memberships are open now. I'm still accepting the first 100 members will become founding members, which means you will have one price for the life of the entire channel. Anything that gets added on down the road will be included in your membership. You will never be charged a higher price again. It will have that same membership fee. As always, and as well as super chats are available as well for everyone. I appreciate you all. Let's see. Crypto Mercenary says Japan is hedging themselves because they own most of the debt in American bond. You're absolutely right. Japan does hold most of the debt in American bonds. Crypto Mercenary says you get liquidated when you have too much of it and it drops too hard. If you're never catching up, then you're down 10%, 20%, 40%. So you have to wait for price appreciation a lot longer. Well, I mean, liquidation is when you sell, or like to me, liquidation is when you get stopped out. You get liquidated. It's not up to you. Usually that happens because people are borrowing against assets and using leverage to play in the stock market. And if they fall below a certain point, their assets get liquidated or sold. You're only liquidated if you sell. So other than that, it's just dollar cost averaging in. It's up to you if you sell or not. Crypto Mercer says, not trying to sound like smartass either. I'm just weighing heavy into that. Hey, you don't sound like a smartass to me. I love conversation, man. Honestly, so the way my streams work, I stream every single Monday through Friday at noon, okay? And the way my streams work, I always start with the quote-unquote meat of the show, the topic, the news, whatever's going on to that day, right? Whatever the story is of the day, whether it's news or topic or there's something going on with price, whatever the headline is. And then after we get through that, we always go into a live Q&A and engage in the chat. I want to hear what everyone has to say, everyone else's thoughts and opinions. Hopefully you can hear me now. I think it glitched out again. Hopefully you can hear me now. Oh no, Scott, don't take it as something bad. Obviously helping lots of people. Oh, I wasn't taking it personally. No. Everyone's entitled to their opinion. I just putting my words out there. I wasn't taking it bad at all. Crypto Mercenary says, refresh. I've got sound here. Okay, so it was messing up. I don't know why it's been messing up today. Reggie70 says, watching from Costa Rica, newly expat from Chicago. Okay, welcome to the stream. Thank you for joining. Be sure you hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. We are here for the long view, not a daily pump and dump stream, right? We're here for what's going to happen 5 years from now, 10 years from now, and about building systems to make you successful in the future. Yeshua King says, I mean, should we invest in assets instead of leaving our dollars in the banks? I mean, it's important to have at least a liquid emergency fund. If you're going to put if you're going to hold as little cash as possible. So there's a couple ways to do this, not financial advice, but this is actually what I do. So I say credit card debt is bad. Carrying a credit card debt is bad. Carrying credit card debt is bad. However, I don't carry credit card debt, but I do use credit cards, and I use it. Here's how. So I have 2% cash back on my credit card with a high limit. Now, every single month, I use my credit card for my groceries, my gas, whatever I need, and I get 2% cash back. It's great. And then I pay it off every single month. Now, I have liquid assets that I can sell and use to pay off, so I'm not physically holding cash. So yeah, you can actually position yourself in a place to where you're holding very, very little cash and use alternative means to supplement that. I'm not going to suggest that's what everyone does. Not everyone's in a position to make that work for them. But to me, as part of the debasement trade, yes. For me, I hold as little cash as possible. Cash is trash. It's either assets or cash flow, right? So you use the assets, you build up your wealth, you use that wealth, you buy cash flow assets. Then as you get the cash flow, you use it to buy more deflationary assets like gold, silver, Bitcoin, XRP. That's the entire idea of the debasement trade. Stack assets, they appreciate, create cash flow, use cash flow, buy more assets, and just keep feeding the circle. Let's see. Crypto Roger said, if your thumbs up, not black, you must be whack. What the heck are you talking about, Crypto Roger? Yeshua Christ says, should we invest our dollars in the bank? That's up to you. I do not. I have as little as I have to hold in a bank, for the most part. I try to use credit cards to pay for it, and then I get cash back, and then I pay off the credit card at the end of the month, so I never get hit with interest. Crypto Rush says many banks will fail if they're not using or storing crypto, so I would never invest in a bank. In crypto, we are the bank, not them. Yes, you do take on your own custody rights, and that's where some people actually get scared when it comes to securing their own crypto. And Crypto Roger, I know you're not this way. You've done a lot of your research, but a lot of people who actually generate the assets and get to the point where they have the assets, then they're afraid to mess it up. How do I move forward to the next step without wrecking what I've built? Is a question that a lot of people have. You know, how to start exiting, and that's when we start talking about cash flow strategies and life insurance and LLCs and all of those things. And mind you guys, okay, when I'm talking about cash flow and LLCs, I'm not going to sell you an LLC. I will never sell you an LLC. It's something you can do yourself online in 5 minutes for $50. I'm here to cut through the hype and the hopium and not to take advantage of you. Let's see here. Crypto Mercenary says, heck yeah. Crypto Roger says, for those who don't know, there are crypto debit cards. You can load it with crypto and use the card everywhere. Even Visa and MasterCard are accepted. So you can actually hold stable coins and use them for a debit card, and then you get your stable coin yield. That's another option as well. I think that's better than a bank. Cold wallets is another option. But truthfully, instead of let me get out of this chat here. Instead of holding necessarily crypto or even using a credit card, if that's not the correct option for you, you know, holding it on a credit card or something like that, if that's not necessarily the right option for you, you could do a crypto debit card and use stable coins and collect stable coin yield that'll be like 3 or 4%, which is still better than what you're going to get at a bank, right? So, man, this was a great stream. It's gone over an hour now. If anyone has any other follow-up questions before I get off here, I would love to hear what you guys have to say. I feel like it was a very productive stream today. I know it usually takes like a minute for the stream to catch up for you guys to respond after I talk. So I'm going to give it a minute here. I'm going to actually, since it's kind of dying down a little bit, I'm not going anywhere just yet. I'm going to mess with this chat thing while I've got some of my regulars in the stream here while we're winding down. I'm waiting for people to talk because I really want to fix this. I want it to work. I don't know why it's not working. It's supposed to work. We're going to delete this browser. Yes. Okay. So we need to pop out this. Pop out. Boom. We pop out the chat. We move that chat over here. And then we're going to copy the overlay. Get overlay. And copy that. And see if I can add this in here now. Let's see. Not that one. All right, we're going to add a source to this. And we want to add a browser. Okay. You guys still with me? Let's see. And we're going to get rid of this. And that should take care of it. Refresh cache of current page. Okay. Let's see. No, hey, there it goes. It's working. All right. Hey, I figured out I had to refresh the cache of the page. Haha. We have success. Thanks for sticking with me, guys. I'm figuring this out now. I'm fixing it. I'll clean up the actual screen of it later here. Jose Mendez says, when holding crypto, at what point would you say you need an LLC or a trust? Well, you don't really necessarily need a LLC to hold crypto or a trust. An LLC is going to be better used for, an LLC is going to be a better opportunity to be used to create tax narratives, right? To be able to keep more money in your house. It's not going to be, it's not going to be a way for you to avoid a taxable event when you sell your crypto. For most people, a holding company I think what you're thinking of is a holding company where you put your house in, or a holding company plus a trust where you put your house in and your trust and your crypto, and everything falls under that umbrella to remove you from like any liabilities and stuff like that. You have to have a massive amount for that to be worth it, because honestly, most people would be better served with just getting like an umbrella insurance policy. You could probably get like a $2 million insurance policy through someone like State Farm or Allstate or any insurance underwriter that can give you the same level of protection that's going to be cheaper than a CPA, honestly, unless you have millions and millions of dollars that you're trying to protect. Again, my opinion, and it depends on what you're doing as well. It depends on exactly what you're trying to do. A lot of those questions are going to need to be discussed with the CPA because everyone's situation is different. It's hard to really get into the meat and potatoes of it without knowing the individual situation and what's actually at play. So hopefully that answers that question. Sir Charles says, nice to the new. So yeah, I was figuring it out. I just had to clear the cache. I wish I would have got it figured out before the actual end of the stream so I can show everyone in here. But I will have it working for the next one now that I've learned how to figure it out. So I appreciate everyone for being here today. It's been a great stream. We're still growing, actually. So sign off in the chat. You know what? Let's grow it. It's at 35 again. We were up to 60 people earlier. So I challenge every single person here who's watching the stream to hit the like button, share the stream, grow it far and wide, engage in the chat, and let's see if we can get this thing pumped up to 100 people in like 10 minutes. I want to see a stream jump to 100 people in 10 minutes. I would love to see that. I'm probably going to need to have XRP spike to $23 right in the middle of the stream in order to accomplish something like that. But I think it would be fantastic. Farm Maximus says, let me get back to my thing. Farm Maximus says, LLC trust is for legal protection. The LLC and trust also allow you to borrow against assets and have tax-free source of income. Again, it's for tax purposes, but as you're borrowing against your investments, Farm Maximus, that opens you up to leverage, that opens you up to liquidations. This is what we were just discussing. So yes, it does allow you to, but you can actually borrow against your investments as a sole proprietor, as a sole individual as well. An LLC is not required for that, but having an LLC allows you company write-offs, like a company vehicle, or like for me, since I do YouTube, I can write off my internet bill. I can write off a company vehicle. I can hire my daughter and pay her, right? There's so many different ways to move money around and keep the money inside the house by using an LLC and tax write-offs. I can do more research into a trust and borrowing against it, but I would not recommend, and again, none of this is financial advice, but I would not recommend to anyone to leverage more than 20% of your investments, because if something does happen, you do not want to be liquidated. That is going to be the worst feeling in the world to see everything disappear like that. Jose Mendez says, I would say 10 years after holding XRP, XLM, HBAR, and price appreciation. So you think it's going to appreciate after 10 years? Todd Madison says, I recommend everyone had a trust. I had my mom create a trust before she passed. She was the trustee and I was next in line, so there's no probate. Exactly. That is exactly what a trust is excellently used for, to transfer assets to family without having to go through probate and taxes and all of these things. It does make it a seamless transaction. So yes, that is the correct and exact appropriate use of a trust, Todd Madison. It's for protecting your family in the event of something going wrong. Farm Maximus says, source, laughing out loud. Yeshua says, thank you. And Farm Maximus says, indeed, you should keep that leverage below 30%. First thing is get real estate for depreciation for tax. Well, you can only depreciate real estate again under an LLC, which you can't do that one as a sole proprietor, which is why I just sold my house, and I also just set up my LLC not too long ago, so my next house will be going under the LLC as well. I have learned my lessons when it comes to that. I was a first-time home buyer the first time, but there are tons of ways to keep money in your own hands versus paying it out to everyone else. That's why companies will go out and buy an $80,000 truck, because they can depreciate it by 80% the first year and go make $60,000 tax-free, right? Whatever 80% of it was, but they can go make that money tax-free because it comes out as a negative asset on the balance sheet for the year. So that's why they do that. Or like these lending companies like Truehold and things like that that buy my house, they go out and buy houses and then depreciate them immediately, and they can go make tax-free money. Or they can borrow against it and fix it up and then sell it, and then they made a massive amount of income. There's all different ways to avoid the tax rules, and tax rules are written in a book. There is a rule book on what we can follow to set ourselves up for the long view. But you have to at least know what the book is to look at it. That's why you have to discuss it with a CPA. Not financial advice, but it definitely, there's a lot of avenues there that can help a lot of people keep money in their household. But we're going on an hour and a half. I think I'm going to call it. I appreciate everyone for taking their time to be here. Again, hit the like button on your way out. Make sure you share it far and wide. Hit subscribe if this is your first time here. And as always, members only live stream will be Thursday night. Members only live stream is going to be Wednesday night. Excuse me. Members only live stream Wednesday night. Memberships are available. They're $7.99. There is only one membership. It is the founding members. You will get the weekly live stream. You will get a weekly newsletter, and you will get everything else for the length of Longview Compute. I will see you all tomorrow at noon, and I will see my members tomorrow night at 7 p.m. I appreciate every single one of you for being here. Later.